Look, Councillor Leviticus and Captain Rianne sent me. I need to see Councillor Eibor now.
And what about my sister? She hasn't been seen since she took the Councillor her meal.
Councillor Eibor was very clear about this. She doesn't want to be disturbed. Oh, another mercenary. Is our Ivory Brigade so enfeebled that Captain Rianne must resort to hiring sellswords? Look, as I told the Wood Elf, Councillor Eibor was quite insistent. She doesn't want to be disturbed. All right, enough. I can see when I'm being overruled. Very well. I give you permission to enter the watchtower. Councillor Eibor's safety is now in your hands. Lurius? Oh, something about his sister. She's another servant here at the fort. Works in the kitchen, I believe. Apparently, she brought the Councillor her meal. He says she never returned, but the servants look for any opportunity to sneak off. The Councillor demanded we protect her. Said her life was in danger, but refused to give me any details. Imperial confidentiality, she insisted, above my station. I put her up in the watchtower, and assigned a couple of brigandines to guard her.
Oh no! Councillor Eibor's been murdered! But where's the servant? The Dark Brotherhood's calling card. Of course they tore out the pages and took them. Just when we were so close to finding out more about the ambitions. Eibor's meal is still warm. So what happened to the servant that delivered it? We have a door locked from the outside, a dead counselor, and a missing servant. Did the assassin take off with both the torn-out journal pages and the servant? Anyway, they not only murdered Eibor, they probably know how to find the ambitions now. See that rope hanging from the top of the tower? Bet my bottom acorn that's how the assassin got in and out. But the missing servant... something about that is knocking on the back of my head. And why would the Dark Brotherhood take those pages? Maybe... but everything I've read about the Dark Brotherhood never suggested they would be interested in weapons of war, if that's even what the ambitions are. Damn it, we're loosing arrows in the dark here. Let's tell Commander Orton about Eibor.
So? Will Councillor Eibor be returning with you to Leowin? Am I finally going to be able to get my fort back in order? Murdered? Gods, keep your voice down. Do you want to start a panic? Tell me what you found in the watchtower. Let me see that. A black handprint. The sign of the Dark Brotherhood. But where is the servant, Talais? Is she involved in this fiasco? And how did she and the assassin get out of the watchtower? My brigandines never left their post. Well, that explains some of it, but not all. We need to locate Talais. Since you're already involved and working for Captain Rianne, I want you to quietly try to find Talais. Start by talking to the other servants in the kitchen and dining hall.
All right, grab a broom and start sweeping.
What? No, that's Talais's job.
And do you see Talais anywhere? No. Then start sweeping.
Another new face in the fort? First Councillor Eibor, now you and that cute wood elf. Look, I'd love to chat, but Therese has wandered off and left me to handle her chores. She took the counselor her meal and hasn't returned. Did you check the watchtower? Ebor's a little old, but maybe Therese decided to improve her station, if you catch my meaning. Ebor reeks of fear. Maybe Therese finds that attractive. Well, she's been acting like a frightened guar since she arrived. Stays locked up in the watchtower. Only lets a single servant in at a time. And I hear she's been burning papers. Documents of some kind. She's scared out of her wits, if you ask me.
The servants come to the kitchen to mutter and gossip. This one will not have it. Misaba asks that you do not distract them overly long, as they are already naturally lazy. What is it that you need? That young woman. She has not returned from the watchtower, so her chores remain undone. And she took the pantry key with her when she went. It is no longer hanging on its hook. That is a clear violation of the kitchen rules. A clear violation. The pantry is in the cellar, but the door is around the side of the building. Therese mumbled something about how the counselor loves hot root flakes, grabbed the key and the tray of food and went off. This one hasn't seen her since.
Your sister is fine. This one is certain.
Then where could she be? She would never neglect her duties.
Probably found a dark corner and someone to snuggle with. This one does that all the time. Pardons, but as much as this one loves idle chatter, there is much work to be done. Ah, Therese. She worries her brother so. She asked me where we kept the hot root flakes. Counselor Ebor sprinkles them on every dish. I told her they are in the pantry, but you need the key from the kitchen to unlock the door.
Before we check the pantry...
Pardons, but as...
So, what did we learn? Counselor Ebor was frightened, but that's understandable. Interesting that she was burning documents. Her journal indicated that she knew more than the others. And Therese visited the pantry before heading to the watchtower. Couldn't hurt. And every mystery novel I ever read taught me you should always follow up on every clue, even the ones that seem insignificant. Let's check the pantry and see if she was looking for more than hot root flakes down there. They murdered Therese too! Why would the Dark Brotherhood murder... Oh no! We need to talk about this! Alright, I think I figured it out. The assassin followed Therese down here, murdered her, and took her place so they could gain access to the watchtower. Pretty clever, but they didn't have to kill her. Right. Very funny. Wait, you're serious? If you're part of this, if you've been trying to save your murdering friends... Ah! All right, we're going back to Leowin. You can walk on your own or I can drag your dead body behind me. Yeah, I've read that somewhere. But what about the calling cards? The Black Hand is definitely making a statement. Trying too hard to convince us that the Dark Brotherhood is behind the murders. All right, I can see your point. That doesn't change the fact that the remaining counselors are still in danger. We need to warn Counselors Valeria and Vandacia. Right. Report to Commander Orton on your way out. Tell him what happened. Then go check on Counselors Valeria and Vandacia. I need to return to Leowyn and consult with Leviticus. But this, between you and I, it isn't over. Remember that. After you report to the commander, make contact with Counselors Valeria and Vandacia. Valeria went to Tidewater Cave to get her records, and Vandacia works in the Gideon Courthouse. Cracked acorns! I suddenly had the weirdest feeling come over me. Yes. No, I don't know. We were talking about the counselors. Valeria and Vandacia. Suddenly I had a premonition. It was brief and disturbing and mildly unpleasant, like the dreams I've been having. But this is the first time while I was awake. Remember I told you about that strange book I found? The one with the Daedric writing that I can't read? I've been having bad dreams since I found it, and the dreams are becoming more frequent. This time it happened right while we were talking. It was just a flash, but it was accompanied by a feeling. I felt a sense of overwhelming evil, all tied up in the figure I saw in my mind. Like someone held a portrait in front of my face for just a moment and then pulled it away. It was one of the Waking Flame cultists, I think. Someone powerful, in command. A dark silhouette wrapped in a cloak. I'll never forget the feeling it invoked. It was like a wave of hopelessness. We can deal with this later. Let's get back to it.
All right. You talked to the fort's servants and rummaged around in our pantry. What's the verdict? Did you find the missing servant? Oh, that's horrible. Are you sure? No. Of course you're sure. No one would lie about something like that. I'll tell her brother what happened and send someone to tend to her body. Gods, what a day this has been.
Just pet the dog. It's harmless. Oh, Tertia, you idiot. No wonder he hasn't... Is there something you want? I'd like to be left alone right now. Body? Ring? Oh, Riemann on high, what's this about? Aloysius wrote this? And he's dead? This makes no sense. Howling? Chicken coops? It was just a mangy mutt. I don't even think it was rabid, let alone... Oh no, Aloysius. You poor fool. He wasn't cursed. He was hallucinating. The toad that Argonian used to ease his pain must have been too strong for him. Aloysius convinced himself he was a werewolf, and he... This is the second worst proposal I've ever had. I was once kidnapped by a crazed Sulzon warlord and offered the heads of my neighbors as a dowry. I'd rather not talk about it. I've had more than a dozen failed engagements in my life. If anyone here is cursed, it's me. But it's not all bad news. Aloysius didn't run off and leave me like half the others. He even gave his life to protect me. I've never had anyone love me that much. Is it wrong that makes me happy? Take this, for delivering my betrothed's last wishes. It was kind of you. I wonder if the Temple of Mara would marry us posthumously. It was his dying wish, after all. Maybe I should employ a priest of Arche for the ceremony, so he can pass on without regrets? Well, why not? I've had absolutely no luck with the living, and it's what he wanted. I'd rather die a widow than an old maid. It's not like this is how I dreamed of getting married, but after being jilted so many times, I may as well marry a man who can't change his mind. You may not get it, but for your sake, I hope you never have to.
The mercenary. A few moments later, and you would have found an empty cave. Your timing really is impeccable. We've already packed up my records, and we're about to head out. But what news of the other counselors? Did your warnings reach them in time? All three of them? That's disheartening news. Well, I'll take my records to Leowen. Perhaps between the two of us, Counselor Leviticus and I can ascertain what past incident has returned to haunt us. Oh, just a lifetime of public service and bureaucracy. Mostly financial records, but also meeting notes, ledgers, those sorts of things. I oversaw budgets and finances, the collection of taxes, public works, and I kept immaculate records. That's good to hear. Emperor Leovic loved to hide things in coded documents. But what about Counselor Vendacia? Do we know if he's still safe in Gideon? Perfect. Remind him he's too old to play the hero, and I want to see him in Leowen Castle immediately, if not sooner. These brigadines will make sure I get to the city safely. Me and my records, both. Godspeed, mercenary.
Asura! I can't believe this! Is it really you? It's you! It's actually you! My friend said you were a story, a myth, but here you are! It is you, right? The hero of Tamriel? The slayer from the legends, it has to be. You look just like the paintings. Can you help me? A famed warrior is asking if I need help. This is what I've always dreamed of. I, don't have any dangerous things going on right now, but I'm sure I could find myself some trouble to get into if you'd want. No, it's all right. Listen, what would you rather fight? A pack of lions? Perhaps a vicious troll? I'm sure I could find one nearby. Oh, it should be more than one. Let's give the bards a good song. How does a dozen trolls sound? You're right. Trolls aren't enough for a legendary hero. We need something bigger, more menacing. Oh, I heard about these weird cultists. The Order of the Waking Flame. You can rescue me from the cultists! Oh, how exciting! This is going to be great. Just wait until I tell all my friends back in Bravo.
Well, we can't wait any longer. We should begin the experiment.
With no porters, no assistants. This endeavor's been a farce from the start, Revis. Now it's a doomed one.
Well, here's a turn of luck. It's me, Revis. You helped me out of a scrape in Nisus some time back, remember? Quamamine, tonal resonator, devoured bard. Good times. Anyway, here we go again. You, me, and an experiment going poorly. House Telvanni is funding a practical test of my latest invention, the Phantasmal Sensor. It exercises spirits, ghosts, and other spectral beings near instantaneously. The unquiet dead claim countless lives each season, but no longer. The porters and assistants I contracted with have been waylaid in Narcissus, some manner of food poisoning. I'm desperate for an extra set of eyes and hands to help with labor and preparations. Nothing dangerous, I assure you. Oh, I'm so relieved you agreed to help. Before you arrived, I feared my overseers at House Telvanni really might... No matter. Tyrus and I already set up a small field laboratory in the ruined Veyond. Meet us inside and we'll get started. Certainly. It's a wedding of Barrelzar's theories on the interactions of tonal and spectral forces with a resonance housing of my own design. Activating it should render any ghosts in proximity completely mute. A clever bit of engineering, I suppose. What? No, I'm extremely excited about it. My superiors in Tel Naga called it a product of minor interest. Believe me when I say that's as robust an endorsement as I'm ever likely to earn. If the Telvanni Council thinks it's worthwhile, so do I. Tyrus is a junior oathman of House Telvanni. At this point in his education, he's obliged to accompany a spellwright like myself on a few field excursions, sort of an apprenticeship. Honestly, in his case, it's just a formality. Tyrus is an incredible talent, of the sort that only appears once in a generation. What's more, his family is extremely well connected. He lives the Telvanni creed effortlessly. I wager he'll be Archmagister one day. Really putting me on the spot, aren't you? There are aspects of Telvanni culture I find abhorrent, the practice of slavery being chief among them. We do what we can. When the only alternative is exile, it's complicated. When you're on a mission to quiet down restless ghosts, you go where the restless ghosts are. Angry spirits pile up in these Ayleid ruins like weevils in a hollow log. Feck only knows why. I've never taken much interest in Ayleid history. In Morrowind? Ha, I wouldn't think of it. Silencing an ancestor is blasphemous, even if some of them deserve it. My Aunt Cernsea can't let a visitation go by without complaining about her urn. We know you wanted purple. Get over it already, right?
taking assistance from random passers-by. The magisters of the house will most certainly have opinions on this. This is easily the most important experiment in Revis's unremarkable career, and he's soliciting aid from random passers-by. Of course he is. It would be depressing if it wasn't so predictable. I am Tiris Terethi, firstborn son of Fothis Terethi, and adopted nephew to Magister Thorana of Telbranora. I can tell by your vacant expression you're not well acquainted with the current affairs of House Telvanni. No great surprise there. I see. Some minor errand, I assume. The house does not make a habit of employing imbeciles. You must have some talent. I take some comfort in that. I often ask myself the same thing. The Telvanni Council insists that prodigies such as I leave Morrowind for a time to experience whatever this is. It makes us more worldly, I suppose. An insufferable waste of time, if you ask me. No, that's a charitable way to put it. Technically, I am Revis's student, but he's taught me very little beyond how to fumble aimlessly from one disaster to another. I can't wait for this to be over.